Hi everyone. Chandler and I are releasing the Global Elites episode today for everyone. And the reason for this is basically Spotify is having an issue posting premium feeds right now. And our choice is either to delay everyone who subscribes on Spotify from hearing the episode or to just release it to everyone so our Spotify subscribers can hear it. So today's your lucky day. If you are not a global elite, you get a taste of what it's like. And I would urge you to maybe consider joining. It's a really fun way to support the show and get another episode of Pop Apologists every week. And I will just say 2026 is going to be a banger year for global elites. So without further ado, please enjoy this episode, and I'm excited for you all to hear it.
Well. Welcome everybody to another Global Elites episode, together with Lauren and Chandler.
Together with us in the third person. We are only going to be talking in the third person today. It's going to be a really fun experience for everyone.
Lauren, you have another travel day in front of you.
Yeah, so I came up here on Tuesday. We recorded for the Wednesday episode. And then yesterday we recorded a deep dive on Lily Allen. So that's coming out December 3rd. And then we went to a little influencer event, which was fun. And then today, I'm going home, but we're recording this before I leave. So yeah, I'm back on JetBlue, you know. I'm going to indulge in the Mediterranean bowl, probably.
What kind of snacks do they have on JetBlue? I haven't flown it in a while.
Thank you for asking. There's goldfish, there's granola bars, there's those Biscoff cookies, which I think are horrendous.
Well, I'm so glad you bring that up because my biggest gripe, I fly Delta a lot, not to brag. I'm typically flying, basic economy. That's the tier where you don't get your money back at all. In fact, I think they charge you more if you cancel.
Yeah.
But that's typically like the airline I'm flying. And I'm so sick of the same bullshit snacks. I'm so sick of the sun chips or the Biscoff cookies. I'm sick of it. I literally never want to have another sun chip ever again in my mortal life.
Is it a collective human experience that when Biscoff first hit the scene, it was kind of like a new, interesting flavor? Like, do you remember your first time having a Biscoff cookie on a flight?
Once again, so glad you asked. I remember my first time having the Biscoff kind of butter from Trader Joe's and being like, what is this nectar?
Mm-hmm.
What is this thick, creamy nectar?
Yes.
But yet somehow airlines have ruined that flavor profile forever.
No, it's basically, it's the taste equivalent of the auditory experience of your alarm.
Yes.
Like it just puts you into a miserable situation.
Like if I were to take a bite of Biscoff cookie, at sea level, I would instantly be transported to 38J and just like the white noise of a plane.
No, it's terrible. And honestly, the flight from New York to Puerto Rico, it's just long enough to feel long.
Yeah.
It's 4 hours in the air.
Yeah.
And so it's like just long enough to not feel like a brief little flight.
Totally. Like I think, there are people who take flights for work that are 90 minutes, 2 hours, 2.5 hours tops. And that's just commuting.
Mm-hmm. You can get through that. But when it's like sometimes it's like 3 hours and 45 minutes. It just can be a little rough. So I'm not looking forward to it, I'll be honest.
Well, honestly, because that's like long enough time where you can kind of watch a couple TV shows, but then you still have like 2 hours to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really when you tap on your little flight screen and see that you have 2 hours and 47 minutes left that you're just like, how am I going to get through this? That's when you really start to lose it.
No, when it's above the 2 hour and 30 minute mark, it just feels like this is interminable. So yeah, they have Biscoff cookies. They have, I don't know. Actually, I probably shouldn't get into this. No one gives two shits about JetBlue snacks.
I just asked because I'm so sick of the Delta flight snack selection. So anyway, thank you for making the trek to and from.
My pleasure.
Puerto Rico. Lots has happened in the last 24 hours.
Yes. So we have so much to get into. Where should we start?
I would like to start with just some of the quicker stories, things where I don't need to spend 15 minutes dialoguing.
Okay.
Monologuing, I should say. Monologuing in your case, dialoguing in mine. I want to start off with the fact that Bryan has revealed that he is 2 months sober after a, quote, earth-shattering mental health struggle crisis.
Yeah.
So he took to Instagram on Tuesday and he reflected on a 20-day motorcycle trip across the country that led him to figure out that he really needs some fucking help. That's his words, not mine. So he goes on and he says, being in the military for a decade and then thrown into the spotlight that I fully hadn't comprehended the scope of had some subconscious effects on me as a person. I was not content, but I also feared showing weakness because that's not who I am or how I was raised. To charge forward and never settle was the motto. He says he was stuck in a perpetual discontent that led him to always reach for alcohol, not for the taste, I mean, obviously, but because there was a consistent black hole in him always needing its void filled.
Do you not like the taste of alcohol at all? Like you don't.
I'm never reaching for it. I like the taste of red wine sometimes.
Yeah, or like a glass of whiskey neat. Never. Like a sipping tequila. Never.
That's not that to me. I don't buy anyone who's like, I crave.
I mean, I don't crave
actually, I crave the taste of maybe a blue cheese martini.
Yeah, like
blue cheese olive martini. I should say that.
I don't know. Anyway, I find that just is an interesting aside from him.
I'd always rather a tall glass of like cranberry juice or apple juice.
Or grape juice.
Grape juice. Any juice.
Grape soda,
orange soda, a cactus cooler. I'd prefer any of those things to alcohol 99.9% of the time.
Yes.
So anyway, now that we've reduced Zach Bryan's sobriety struggle to,
I mean, that's the reason why I brought that up is because there's actually very little interesting to me about this factoid. I just feel like I need Zach Bryan to quit yapping and just keep singing.
Wow.
Keep the songs coming, but maybe, I don't know, the sob stories we can keep to a minimum.
In the words of the letter that was written to the chicks, shut up and sing or your life will be ruined.
I don't know. It's just like, I feel like
excellent song.
This just screams. Oh yes.
Shut up and sing
or your life will be ruined.
I have a distinct memory of being at the playground across from grandma's house, listening to that song on my iPod and just being like, just feeling so much.
They've been through so much. Yeah.
Anyway, back to Zach Bryan.
I mean, how did you feel about that, given that you were pro George Bush and they were anti George
Bush?
It
was, thank you. Again, thank you so much for asking. Big source of inner conflict for me.
Yeah.
And kind of like understanding nuance.
Yeah.
For the first time in my young life.
George Bush was Chandler's sexual awakening, everyone.
Not my sexual awakening. You've not taken this from like childhood crush, which is not true.
There we go.
But not sexual awakening. There's a difference between your crush and your sexual awakening when you start to feel things.
Was there just something earthy and authoritative about his perpetual tan to you?
Once again, I was brainwashed by our extremely Republican parents, and I was very pro the Iraqi war.
Iraqi.
Well, first maybe I'll restate that.
No, let's keep that shit.
I was very pro the war on terror, and I was very, very pro I was very against weapons of mass destruction.
There's just
at this age of 7.
There is just nothing
Iraqi war.
I'm sorry, there's nothing more American than the Iraqi war. When I'm pretty sure if you're like actually in the Middle East, it's pronounced Iraq. But chance like Iraqi. Anyway.
Look.
I'm just trying to talk about anything other than
I can tell. And you love making me look like a fool. Anyway, everybody.
I do not.
That was me when I was 7. I now have, much more conflicted feelings about war in general.
How much George Bush porn have you watched?
Shut up. 0. Literally 0. Okay. I would like to talk about Zach Bryan. I'm sure it actually does exist. I have something to say.
Even if you create it with AI, if you
zip
really want
your
to.
lips. Clip. I have some things to say, even if it's just me monologuing. So obviously we covered the big scandal last year about this time, I believe, in November was the Brianna Chickenfry.
Yeah.
Of it all. Brianna Chickenfry of it all. That's when all that bomb got dropped. And so I think it's been a year since all of that came out. I think this was the only way the situation could go.
Yeah.
He was in a downward spiral. I know you don't want to talk about this, so just try to fix your face because you're already looking.
What?
So
I'm intrigued.
Anyway, like we all knew something bad was going on and that he was a bad guy. I can't wait for the album that's going to come out post. I think rehab is a great place to write some music. It's a great place to work on yourself, obviously, first and foremost, and then a great place to write some music. And I'm also going to say that I think Brianna did him a favor. She did him a favor by not keeping his secrets and kind of forcing him to reckon with his behavior.
Do you think he's really reckoning with his behavior?
I think he is. I think he is way more than he was a year ago. So that's all. That's my little monologue on Zach Bryan. Did you bring anything else to the table?
Do you remember?
The subject?
We had 2 gaffes when it came to the Zach Bryan story when we initially reported on it. First, we said that her last name fully is Chickenfry. We're like, no, guys, that's her last name. It is Chickenfry. And then We also reported about that other couple on Instagram, remember? Where he was like, basically, there's another country singer with Zach as the first name who has a girlfriend who looks identical to Brianna Chickenfry. And he took her to like all the same places and like posted all the same photos. And the ex-girlfriend like put it together and posted it. Do you remember this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, we were like, Brianna Chickenfry is taken to Instagram because Zach Bryan has, been has been kind of redoing all the things they did together. And she posted all of it.
Yeah. What was wrong?
Well, that wasn't Brianna Chickenfry and Zach Bryan. That was a different country singer named Zach.
I don't know that I believe that. And I don't know that we even made that gap because that still rings true in my head, that story.
Anyway.
Okay, let's move on.
Clearly, I have nothing of substance to say.
Literally, I wish you had prepared more and complained less. So,
okay, my true take,
here we go,
is that it's just, I feel like it's a classic. If you get caught as an abuser of some kind, it's always like, oh, I went to rehab, so I'm good now.
Yeah. But
I feel like that's a pretty vanilla and obvious take. It's like stating the obvious. So I tried to, joke around instead.
We know. Yeah, I agree. I think that, this is a classic pattern of behavior. I wonder if Jennifer Aniston's hypnotist boyfriend could really do some work on him. I'd like to see a series where, what's his name again? Something is a hot name.
It's not. It's Jim something.
Jim Curtis.
Jim Curtis.
I was about to say Brad Curtis, but that's wrong. Not a hot name. Actually, I take it back. Anyway, I would love to see a series where Jim Curtis is like Hollywood fixer.
Yeah.
Mental fixer.
That would be great.
Yeah, right. And can't you just he's already doing it on Instagram for free. He should get a Hulu deal at the very least.
Like that Celebrity Big Brother Rehab edition.
If you want to talk about bottom of the barrel content.
I'm just saying that could be a nice spinoff.
I agree. I completely agree. Let's move on, though, to Queen Camilla, because she had a gaffe herself.
She did. Okay, everyone. Queen Camilla awkwardly committed an etiquette no-no by asking Gavin and Stacey, I think that's a show in the UK.
Yeah.
This actress, Ruth Jones, from the show Gavin and Stacey.
I almost just said like a Regis and Philba. But isn't it Regis and Kelly? And isn't his name Regis Philba?
Wait, no. Philbin. Is it Philbin?
Regis Philbin?
No, oh yeah. Regis
and Kelly.
Regis Philbin.
Yeah.
Philbin.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you just spelled Regis's last name from memory.
Why? You just couldn't believe it?
I couldn't spell it. Anyway, back to Gavin and Stacey.
We're going to try to keep this train on the tracks
We're not. No, we make no promises.
Okay, so Camilla, I guess, was meeting Ruth Jones, this actress in the show Gavin and Stacey. And she asked her if she lost weight during her recent trip to South Wales over the weekend. So this is the exact quote. She said, "Haven't you lost masses of weight?" Should I do it in a British accent?
Yeah.
"Haven't you lost masses of weight?"
Ew.
What was that?
It's like 14th century or something. I don't know. You didn't move your upper lip.
I was trying to do a
Haven't you lost masses of weight?
Okay,
so much worse.
That was so much worse.
It's like Irish.
I think
Haven't you lost masses of weight?
Okay, wow. Can we talk today? Can we do this episode? I hope so.
No, we need to find the word. Like there's a word that's like toffee pudding. Haven't you lost masses of weight?
That was good. That was better. So Ruth Jones replied and she said, "Yes, I have."
Less breath. Why is there so much breath?
Okay. "Yes, I have. Thank you." "I've lost a bit of weight."
It's like, oh my gosh, it's like Mrs. Weasley in the 14th century.
Anyway.
Okay, so what's crazy here, though, is that Ruth Jones went on to say that her hypnotist, Paul McKenna, not Jim Curtis, not to be confused with Jim Curtis, successfully trained her to curb her diet.
Really?
Yes. In the age of Ozempic,
yeah.
I'm just like, I love that people are coming up with excuses like, well, my hypnotist just literally trained me, just was like, eat less.
I mean, do you think that that's what someone says?
Eat less. I'm trying to do it in a British accent.
Don't you think that's what someone says, though, when they don't want to admit that they're shooting up?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's quite far-fetched. But I hope Paul McKenna is getting a lot of business.
It's quite far-fetched, Ruth Jones.
That was great.
Yeah,
we finally got it.
We finally got it.
I have a couple things to say about Queen Camilla here.
Please.
Is it really Queen Camilla? Isn't there like some like
No,
queen?
It's well, I think
Queen, like assistant to the manager, not like assistant manager.
So at one point she was Queen Consort Camilla.
Yes.
I really need you to, just kind of brush up before we get to recordings, please.
Queen Consort Camilla.
But that consort was dropped.
When the queen died?
Well, obviously it was after the queen died because she didn't become queen while Elizabeth was queen.
That makes sense. That checks out.
But yeah, at some point afterwards. It was
Okay.
dropped.
Well, Queen Camilla, I would just want to say thank you for bringing a little bit of spice to the humdrum, boring royal events.
Yeah.
We never hear about funny things they say because they never say anything funny. And this also led me to a realization that, like, I think if I were to be invited to dinner at the palace, which is never going to happen because of our 35-part series, 47-part series on Kate Middleton, I think I'd want to sit next to Camilla. I feel like she'd be the most like honest and just like fun to gab with.
You just know that you would cuddle up next to Camilla.
I don't like she's cuddly.
Okay, I think that you are sidling up to her with a glass of sherry.
You and her are 2 drinks deep.
And you're talking a little British smack.
You're cheersing the port.
Yes. And you know what? It slaps.
It slaps. I'm sure she's got so many thoughts on Andrew.
Oh, I'm sure she has many thoughts on Meghan.
Yes.
I'm skipping right past Andrew and getting to the Meghan of it all with Camilla.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I've just like come full circle and kind of into Camilla.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what? She has that earthy sensuality that trapped Charles, and in her gaze, in his gaze. And I think that there would just be a warmth to her. That would be irresistible.
I don't think there's a warmth to her. I think I actually think she's like the least warm person. But I think there's like she's just kind of no bullshit. And I think she's been through a lot like of media scorn. And so she kind of maybe gives no fucks.
Well, here's what I think the real situation is. I think with Camilla, she was really born into the upper echelons of British society. So she's comfortable there. So she's more comfortable being herself.
Yeah.
Unlike potentially a Kate, who kind of was like upper middle class and is always proving herself, who's maybe more prim and perfect. And unlike a Meghan as well, who definitely is very image conscious. I think Camilla's like, I know that I belong in these stately manners with the marchionesses, with the counts, with the dukes.
Yep.
And so I don't need to prove myself. And so I can just spill the tea. I can pour some Earl Grey and spill some tea while I'm at it.
I can say what I want to say. I think that, she's always been very comfortable in her own skin, which I think was attractive to Charles.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move forward though, because there's someone who is less comfortable in her own skin, I believe.
Yes.
That we must get into. So Meghan Markle, there's a article in page 6 called How Meghan Markle and Prince Harry Are Preparing for Thanksgiving with Archie and Lily's Help.
Slow news day, everybody.
This is a very nothing burger of an article. She talks about how she likes to walk with Archie and Lily basically in their gardens in Montecito. Amongst the honeycomb. Is that what it says?
So all of this came from the As Ever newsletter, which I tried to get my mitts on. It's hard for me to find.
Oh, really?
But I think page 6 pulled a story from the newsletter.
Yeah.
And this whole newsletter is about the
sage honey
recipe. Sage honey that she wants to dress her turkey in. That's like coming from her garden.
Yeah.
So like I said, slow news day.
This is the quote. She says, those strolls with Archie and Lily running in tow, her husband checking on the bees, Pula chasing the ball with Mia trying to keep up, those were the sun-drenched moments that made an everyday walk something a bit more magical. And that sage, that purple, that scent around the garden was always there in the background. Okay, so the copywriter is really working hard. Okay.
I mean, aren't they always?
She's put her shoulder to the wheel to sell that sage honey with honeycomb.
And you know what, everybody? Lucky for you, sage honey is now available for your holiday table to beautifully dress your Thanksgiving feast, either on the bird or the vegetables. I also just want to take issue with one other suggestion here, which is to, use the vinaigrette, just a spoonful in your tea. I don't want any vinaigrette in my tea.
No.
I'm good.
I have actually more egregious things to take issue with. So I would like to move forward if that's okay.
Yeah.
I do find that to be a disgusting condiment recommendation.
Yeah.
So thank you for shedding light and raising awareness.
Okay.
You guys, so Meghan has covered Harper's Bazaar. Did you see this?
Yes. Yeah.
So I read the article.
You did.
And there are 2 moments in the article that really stuck out at me.
Please share.
Most of them are very boring. It's basically, I swear they're like on her payroll. This Harper's Bazaar article is so up her ass.
Mm-hmm.
And it is just, it's platitude after tripe platitude. Again, someone said Lauren has it out for Meghan. I truly don't. I like her. I like her. What's that face?
No one's buying me. I don't think you like her anymore.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you find more annoyance with her than delight in her.
No, because in my head, she isn't what she seems to be, but only because she's like, I don't know. In my head, I do like her.
Okay.
That's my experience. She's kind of like, you know what she's like? She's like a sister who you love, but is annoying on some level.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
does
totally.
annoying things.
For sure. Okay.
So anyway, cutting to the chase, the article is filled with a lot of trite platitudes, and it's about like, okay, let me share one moment. The journalist says, when I ask Meghan what she hopes her kids see when they see her working, she tells me, I hope they see the value of being brave. They saw it when the jam was just a pot on the stove, bubbling. When you're young, she adds, I think you're a little bit more fearless. As we get older, we lose some of that.
Just kind of doing a ritual to like before I go to bed, just so I can kind of, because I'm falling asleep.
Well, oh, I'm sorry,
But what's brave about
the jam on the stove?
Well, it was just, you know, it was just a twinkle in her eye. It was just this dream, this small dream of the jam being in every home across America. It was just, you know, a bubbling pot on the stove.
Okay.
I've never seen someone try so hard to make jam their personality.
It's a preserve, Chandler, please.
Sorry.
Okay, so anyway, the article's a total snooze, but there are two moments that actually you must, if you read it, you must pay attention to. So the first happens about midway through the article. So the writer writes, when I meet up with Meghan a week later on a stormy day in New York, she's wearing black leggings and an oversized Northwestern sweatshirt. Her hair is pulled back, and if she has any makeup on, it's difficult to tell. We're in a grand brownstone on the Upper East Side that belongs to one of Meghan's friends. When I enter, the house manager announces Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, even though we appear to be the only people in the house. Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Okay, let me.
Like, no, I heard you, but so can we reenact this? You open the door, you open the door, you know, keys, you know, clinging or whatever. You open the door, start taking off your shoes, and then all of a sudden, the house manager, who's not a butler, who's just like probably some hourly employee, is like, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex.
I mean, that's insane.
Is that what happened?
Yes, to announce Meghan to the one other person at the home.
People only did that, like, if you were actually in some type of palace.
Yes, at some sort of like state dinner.
Yeah, like you have to have one of those like sashes on you, like, and shoulder pads.
It's pretty wild, that detail. Like,
that's fucking crazy.
Can you imagine inviting someone over to a place you're staying and having
your friend's house, and I'm at your own home?
It's having, I guess, your friend's employee announce you and announce your title.
Yeah, how does that go down? Where you're like, so just so you know, when you get here, I'm gonna expect to be announced.
Well,
otherwise I won't know what to do. I have to be cued in.
This part of the article is so interesting because it doesn't only happen once; it happens twice. So there's also a part of the article where they're at a museum, and there's a bunch of like kids, like they're like schoolgirls. So it says, a cluster of white tents has been set up at the La Brea Tar Pits, the active fossil dig site and natural history museum in Los Angeles, to receive a group of girls from a local STEM academy. One tent near the entrance is appointed with a handsome, worn-looking desk with a tarp hanging behind it that's printed with a reproduction of a nature painting. It looks like the movie version of an archaeologist's field station. The 11 and 12-year-olds in their purple and gray uniforms are unaware of who they're about to meet. It's a warm September day, and I can hear them murmuring outside the tent. A golf cart pulls up, the gravel crunching beneath its tires. The Duchess of Sussex, someone in the scrum announces. Meghan descends, dressed in wide-leg trousers, a silk blouse, and a small pair of pave diamond studs.
Girl, I thought you left all that behind.
It's like, even if she was still a working royal, both of these situations would be so weird to say, please announce me to the one other person that, you know, in this home, to this one visitor, or please announce me and my title to these school children.
Well, I think too, yeah, like let's look at the audience here. The one reporter journalist from Harper's Bazaar, and then a group of school children. It's not like you're going to meet, you know, the president. It's not like you're going to the White House and you need to kind of like show, you know, your status.
It is, you know what it's giving?
What?
It is giving the Countess
Yes.
with the cab driver.
Yeah.
You know,
You know.
or the driver. What does she say? She says, "This is my friend Luann,"
Yeah.
and then they get out of the car.
Yeah. No, I think Bethany says like
Bethany says, "This is Luann."
Yeah, but it's not. But it's to Bethany's driver or to Luann's driver.
No, because Luann's driver would know to call her by.
Yeah, and
by
oh
the
yeah,
Countess.
and then Luann's like when they get in the car, she's like, actually, you know,
Wait,
like,
let's pull it up.
Clever is a guy who once in a while drives for Jason, and we called him that night to drop us off. This is Luann. This is Clever.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I totally felt awkward being introduced to the driver as Luann. I'm not used to that.
If you introduce me to like a driver, it's like this is double sex. You know, like kids. Like
oh,
kids,
how it's like
you
a
know,
level of respect.
Yeah, it's a level of respect. You know,
Oh, really?
My husband would,
And what,
actually
he
be
would
like,
freak
"Oh my
out?
god."
Is this real? Do you really care what a driver calls you? And I said, I did not have the Countess handbook, so I apologize. I had no idea. Oh, I was like, hey, it's Luann, like we're all having a beer together.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like come in and do a shot with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it, yeah. Because you don't understand, there's no separation of church and state with me. There's not.
Well, it's not about church and state.
I would have thought that Bethany would have known that, you know. So I was surprised that I had to explain it to her.
Even Rosanna, you know, she calls me Mrs. D. Did you notice that?
No,
calls
and she
me
would not
Mrs.
call me,
D.
she wouldn't call me Bethany, she'd call me Mrs. whatever.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
It was like astounding. It was just, I just was like, all right. I was just like, get over yourself. Clever, would you mind getting out and opening up Mr. Sepp's door, please?
Mrs.
it's just like a level of respect.
It's a level of respect.
It's a level of respect.
Yeah,
And you know what? Neither of us demand any type of level of respect from people, and
because we don't deserve it.
we don't deserve it, and people can tell.
Yeah. I mean, there is just something so hilarious as well. I don't know. It's just so funny to me that she's so obsessed with this pomp and circumstance. And honestly, in situations that just are, it's not fitting.
I'm sorry. I just straight up do not even like her anymore.
Okay, you don't like her anymore.
I just think we hear a lot of stories from, you know, the press. We hear a lot of stories from insiders who know her,
yeah.
and nothing really makes me like her more. None of the stories make me like her more. They all make me like her less, sadly.
I will say, in her defense, the Logan Hollowell sales assistant I was talking to, who used to sell her jewelry, said she was only super lovely. So, you know what?
Yeah, and
If you're in a good mood though when you're buying diamonds, so
absolutely. And yeah, I mean, she might be nice. I don't actually no, I don't even. She's probably in a good mood when she's buying diamonds.
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and agree with that.
okay. This next story is really wild. So, a wealthy nurse has given birth to her 13th child at the age of 62. That's not even the story.
Mm-mm.
She faked her husband's signature to have a 14th and 15th child via a surrogate.
So we're talking about Mary Beth Lewis.
Okay.
And Bob Lewis. Bob Lewis is her husband. They met together while working, I believe they were both like in military service. She was a nurse. He, I think, was in the Air Force. He's a pilot. And so they meet, they fall in love, and they proceed to have 5 daughters. All right. And Mary Beth doesn't really want to stop having children ever. And what we see is this pattern of like, once the youngest child becomes no longer a toddler, she's ready to have more children. So she gives birth to twin girls just weeks before her 50th birthday, and then gives birth to another daughter 3 years later, and then welcomes twin boys, in 2012. So then she's 55 and she has 10 children of her own. She still felt like her calling with motherhood was incomplete.
Her family was not complete. Yeah.
So they'd run out of their own embryos, but they purchased donor sperm and eggs to create a new batch of embryos. So she was then impregnated with the donor embryos and welcomed her 11th and 12th child at the age of 59. So she keeps having twins because a lot of times, especially with these older pregnancies and with like just implantation, they will insert 2 or 3 embryos or whatever, because like a lot of times not all of them will take.
Mm-hmm.
So she has then her 11th and 12th children at the age of 59. So she gives birth then to her 13th child at 62 years old. Doctors absolutely forbid her from having any more pregnancies. And, there are like serious repercussions for her body. She's had lots of C-sections. So she's at 13 children at this point. And even her children are like, this has to stop.
Mm-hmm.
But I think actually for this pregnancy for her 13th child, they had everyone over for Easter and they gave everyone a little egg with a little, piece of paper inside of it that said we're expecting.
Okay, wow.
And her kids were just like,
oh my
baffled.
gosh, yeah.
And so they continue on in this journey. And Bob at this point is like, we are done. This is done, But Mary Beth forges ahead and she decides to pay a surrogate to carry 2 more children.
Mm-hmm.
So basically she agrees to pay a surrogate $50,000 for carrying the children, an additional $7,000 if 2 fetal heartbeats were detected. And the crazy thing is I was like, this is so expensive.
Yeah.
All of these children, via surrogate. And Bob is a FedEx pilot. I think he's like paid quite well. He flies all over the world, for FedEx. And he's not home a lot.
Yeah.
And so what I was listening to this podcast about the New York Times article that came out, and they were just saying that, for the most part, Bob didn't really have to experience having all of these children.
Interesting.
But that like the older children had to help take care of these younger children, so many of them, to the point where they were even delaying having kids themselves because they felt like they were like needed. Anyway, to be of help.
I feel like that's a lot of what you hear in like polygamous communities and communities where there's so many kids, is that the older kids, I remember hearing, I think it was Polygamy USA, one of the daughters was like, I just don't want to have kids yet, even though she was she was getting married and she was a childbearing age, excuse me, because she said that she just felt like she'd been around little kids her entire life, taking care of them, and wanted a break from that.
Right.
So yeah, I just think that's like a super common experience.
Yeah. So, okay. So she's at her 13th child and she's now wanting more.
Yeah.
So she agrees to pay this surrogate and they implant the 2 embryos. And Bob does not know about it.
Yeah.
And she says that she was just sort of, she knew that it wasn't going to go over well.
But she just felt like he would come around.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's 8 weeks before she's supposed to,
This is so crazy.
the surrogate is supposed to give birth. And she tells Bob.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Bob only finds out because she is forging his signatures all the time. She's just totally, committing fraud. And there's a hearing via Zoom about the rights to the kids or something. I don't remember the exact name, but there's a normal hearing.
I think in some jurisdictions you have to actually meet with the judge to have to be on the birth certificate.
Correct. Yeah, I think that was probably what it was. So they have this hearing. It's over Zoom. Post-COVID, everything is done on Zoom, or a lot of court things are done via Zoom now. And she creates a Zoom account as Bob, posing as Bob. And when the judge asks questions to Bob, she just sort of grunts in approval.
Yeah.
So the judge, though, kind of has a weird feeling about this.
Yeah.
And the judge decides to have the signed documents or whatever, documentation came out of that hearing sent to the home address, not to a P.O. box Mary Beth had opened to receive all this, to keep it from Bob. So Bob comes home, sees the documents, freaks out, and he calls Mary Beth and he says, I'm calling the police on you.
Yeah.
You've been frauding me. I do not want these children. This is, but they're literally about to, be born. And what's absolutely crazy is that social services are called and it becomes this huge thing. The police, are involved. And at one point they're in some type of heated discussion with the authorities. And Mary Beth says, I think either Bob says, I want a divorce or I'm leaving you or whatever. And she goes, well, if you leave me, I get half of everything. And within a few days, they've totally mended fences and they're a united front. And they're like, these are our children. We are fighting for these children.
Cheaper to keep her.
Yes. So the children were born and they were placed in the care of foster parents.
Yes. Who want to adopt the children.
Who really want to adopt the children.
Yeah.
And it's been 2 years. And Bob and Mary Beth are still fighting for these children.
And it's interesting because Bob seems to really regret having called the police on his wife, because it's created a ton of huge legal bills for them. And it's created this huge legal battle for them to get these kids, which I guess he has now co-signed getting. And it seems like, though, the judge indicated that they're going to get them. Did you see that?
I think that what I was hearing when I was doing what I was seeing and hearing as I was doing more research about this is that there's some type of precedence with intent and intended parents, you know, that's an expression, right, with surrogacy, like the
Yeah.
intended parents. So because Bob and Mary Beth, you know, were the people who created these children, not,
Yeah.
you know, biologically, but because they were the ones who, you know,
Yeah.
made these embryos, like it's always been their intention to be the parent. So because of that precedent, that it is likely that they will get the children, I think. But it's really crazy. I mean, this story is just crazy because I think too, she had all of these other, you know, pregnancies in her late 50s, and you're not like, a lot of clinics will not, you know, implant an embryo into somebody who's over the age of 45 or something.
I think it's 55. I think because I obviously we're going through the surrogacy process, me and Kagan, and on the forms it's like after you turn 55, like basically what do you want done with your embryos? Like once you turn 55, we don't approve, basically.
Yeah.
So
but I guess like they were able to just find clinics who would bend the rules. Like a lot of this stuff is unregulated. And so anyway, that's how they were able to even get to this many children that she, you know, carried on her own. I really am struck by this story because, you know, they are staying together, and it's just, there are so many children in this family now, and it's just really not fair to them. I mean, now they're in their like late 60s.
Yeah. Well, and also all the older kids are essentially de facto parents potentially if something happens to them, because they're not, you know, they're not super young anymore.
Yes.
They're in their mid to late 60s. And so yeah, it's a really crazy story. Obviously this woman is dealing with like a mental illness. And it's absolutely crazy.
And I think about these like sweet little children who have been born, who now, you know, under these like really bizarre circumstances, and they were wanted by their parents, but their parents are not capable of raising them at that, you know, old of an age.
Right.
Anyway, it's just, I thought this story was fascinating.
No, it's completely riveting.
And especially when there's no like religious, you know, we don't know, maybe there is religious like undertones here, but this is just like a seemingly secular family in New York.
Honestly, there can be a lot of crazy stuff that happens with surrogacy, because I feel like, having gone through the process myself a little bit, I've honestly been a little bit surprised how it just doesn't seem like a crazy regulated industry at all.
It's not.
Like, and there doesn't seem to be any sort of universal oversight. And I remember I listened to an episode of the Daily, I think, some podcast, and there was a couple who were basically having like 15 babies being born at the same time with different surrogates. And so I think there is, you know, some human trafficking that can happen. So it's a very complicated, fraught situation.
Anyway, I think the final hearing to determine, you know, who will be the parents of these twins is happening like right about now. So
really? We'll report back.
We'll report back. Moving along, there's a little bit of drama continuing to unfold in the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives world. We obviously did our whole episode with Layla this week, and we've talked about a lot of this ad nauseum. But I think it's worth mentioning kind of the latest that's come from Jessi. Jessi Draper, which is what she's now going by. She went on the Vile Files podcast. And she revealed that Jordon, her husband, tried to blackmail her with her messages with Marciano when they were kind of going through this struggle after he found out.
So a few crazy things have been revealed. The first is that they were not separated when she cheated with Marciano, as she terms it. And apparently Jordon really wanted the story to be that they were separated, because he thought it was really emasculating that she would cheat on him, and so it would help his image if they got their story straight that they were separated. So I guess what happened is he saw her texting Marciano. They were in Vegas, and they were going to meet up with Marciano with Jordon. And he saw her messages with him that over her shoulder, he saw that there were like way more of them. And so he grabs her phone, believed they were just at some sort of like restaurant. He grabs her phone, he goes into the bathroom, he screenshots all of the messages and sends them to himself. I guess they got into some screaming fight, but then he created TikToks of the messages, and he had those TikToks in drafts, and he would threaten to publish them.
Like before the show came out.
I just feel like I need Jessi and Jordon to realize that this is not a healthy, like this relationship to me is not one that is worth trying to salvage.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of mutual respect here.
Like, I'm not seeing mature behavior.
Yeah.
I also don't think if your husband has been emotionally abusing you for years that you should be trying to like repair this union.
No, and okay, so she posted a reel last night kind of explaining how terrible this has been, the fallout, from what we've seen on the show. And I feel like she is kind of laying the groundwork for them to separate. I know their house just went on the market. She says he's emotionally abusive, that he's been that way in the past. We watched scenes where he had some really bad behavior.
Mm-hmm.
She did cheat on him, which is not okay. But yeah, I don't think these are two people who should try, like you said, to like stick it out just because.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a relationship that's working for either of them.
I think there's just something so depressing about seeing the stars of this show, who really are all such dynamic, like wonderful people, kind of sticking it out in really subpar marriages with subpar men.
And honestly, I would say not even just subpar, but a guy who was willing to destroy your public image.
Yeah.
On like the fact that he was so ready to wield, this power and turn the internet against her and just blow up her image.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's so gross.
Yeah, it just reveals, I think, that the relationship has gotten to such a level of contempt. And I saw that when there was that scene, they were at some like fast casual restaurant in Utah, and it was Jessi, and I think it was definitely Taylor, because Taylor basically did not want to indulge in the conversation. Do you remember this? When
Yes.
they're talking about Jordon, and this is when they're like separated.
Yeah.
And Jessi is kind of like laughing at something stupid he said or did.
Yeah.
And I just kind of realized in that moment, I was like, oh, in her brain, he is kind of an ex that she hates.
Yes.
Like, he is not someone she's trying to actively get back together with. And I just think that their relationship is just so far past the brink.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And, I think that, like the groundwork is being laid for them to separate.
Okay, another couple who has been divorced, but they have more going on. So I really want to get into this just briefly. Meghan King, she has lost custody of her kids to Jim Edmonds after a CPS call. This is just really sad.
Yeah.
But I'm reading the article, and it's a very strange story. So basically what it says is that she went over to Courtney and Jim's house, Meghan did, to talk to Aspen, their daughter, or to drop off a dress. And she said she called Jim beforehand to say that she was coming over. She gets there, and Courtney says, you can leave the dress. And she says, I want to talk to Aspen. And she says she's at a baseball game with Jim. So Courtney walks away, and she assumes Meghan leaves, but then she hears Meghan, like, basically she walks upstairs and she hears Meghan yelling in the house, trying to find Aspen to talk to her. So she comes back, and I guess Meghan then walks out the door, but she puts a foot in the door. And then it's so weird because the article just ends and it says, Courtney said she told Meghan to get out of the home. After preventing Courtney from closing the door by putting her foot in the doorway, Meghan moved her foot and Courtney closed the door. It's a very like nothing burger of a story.
I was searching for like, okay, what has gone wrong? What happened?
Yeah. And I looked at several articles because I was like, there must be a missing detail, but it's all the same. I don't really know what's going on here, except that I just know I'm team Meghan Edmonds. Like, I'm team Meghan King, excuse me.
Yeah.
I just think Jim Edmonds is a creep and gross, and it just wouldn't surprise me at all if he was, he was trying to get full custody of the kids so he doesn't have to pay Meghan. And I don't trust Jim, and I don't trust Courtney as much as I can throw him.
I also think this reeks of, here's this crazy headline that we're going to, get out there, but then actually there's nothing that's happened, but this headline is so damning, that your CPS has removed your kids from you, like because given full custody to your ex. So yeah, my like heart breaks for her, and and if something,
I just feel like
we would just know. I think if something, I don't know, much more terrible had happened.
I also, two things. One is this is temporary. So apparently they will have a hearing about this in the next couple weeks. So she's lost custody at this very moment, but I think we're going to, really figure out what happened once a final decision is made by the judge, or a more lasting decision. The other thing I was going to say is that I just also remember so much from the show about how Meghan was really kind of at all of Hart's appointments.
Yeah.
Because he really struggles. I think he has some sort of disorder. I
Mhm.
honestly forget what it was. But he had very serious health struggles. And it seemed like Meghan was actually the only really present parent
Yeah.
for their child.
Yeah.
And Jim was kind of checked out with Courtney, who he met, or who was basically Courtney was their threesome partner. So
I am just astounded at that. Astounded at how much Meghan
King Edmund's knowledge I have.
Meghan King and Jim
Yeah.
Edmonds knowledge. You have the lore. You are just you're it's impressive.
Thank you.
Can we just quickly move on to the Bill Belichick watching Jordon, in her adult cheer competition?
I mean, these images, they're worth
1,000
words.
1,000 words. 1,000 words. So Jordon Hudson was in a national cheerleading championship in North Carolina,
Mhm.
and Bill Belichick was there in the stands watching her. I want to be charitable with my opinion here.
Yeah.
Like, he's supporting her. He's supporting
Yes.
her, doing her thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be, a little bit of an annoying way to spend your Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Such a good point.
I'm also a little bit, surprised. I didn't know adult cheerleading competitions existed.
Yeah. Isn't she like almost 30?
24.
24.
So yeah.
I mean, so not quite. So I will admit to everyone that Chandler and I both were cheerleaders.
I was not a cheerleader. You were. You were not a cheerleader. You did okay. You were not like on the team in high school.
No, but even more embarrassing. We were in competitive cheerleading.
Oh, I never did competitive cheerleading.
I think you did. You didn't? And maybe it was me and Courtney.
I think I know your lived experience better than you. No, I feel like, because like Nick and I just did our own, like we were part of the second generation.
In the family. You
Yeah.
always like to remind people how young you are. Chandler was not part of the first generation of our family, where Courtney and I did participate in competitive cheerleading.
Mm-hmm.
I remember they would always try to put me at the back of the formation because I'm just so uncoordinated. I cannot dance at all.
I did dance, and I was terrible.
Yeah. I remember that. No, I'm just kidding.
Guys,
you
hurt
danced?
hurt people.
When did you dance?
Like in early middle school.
Anyway, I'm glad I did too as a kid in competitive cheerleading. Why do I bring this up?
Why? Land this plane. So you know what it's like to be Jordon Hudson.
Oh, I have to assume that's the kind of cheerleading she's doing, which is like where it's basically an offshoot of gymnastics as a kid.
You learn some type of routine.
Yeah, and you do like tumbling and you wear a slutty outfit.
Her glam was giving a little bit of like Lisa Barlow in her confessional. The glam was kind of crazy for this cheer competition.
The glam is always crazy for competitive dance or for competitive cheerleading. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
Insane.
Yeah.
You
know
know
what's funny is she has time for this elaborate hobby because she already has 9 properties.
I was literally you stole what I was about to say for me, because I'm just like, she is living a dream life. She has passive income just rolling,
up
just churning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, up the yin yang. And then she's just like pursuing her hobbies to the fullest.
Yeah,
and I guess who am I to throw a stone? I knit. That's my only hobby.
It's true. And I will say, if you're gonna be a gold digger, you might as well not get a Chanel bag, not get crap that's just gonna get devalued, but get some investment properties, ladies. So she's doing a few things right.
Yeah. I would like to know kind of what the conversation is like with the two of them. Like, are you coming to my cheer competition on Saturday? You're gonna be able to skip practice?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Can we move on to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Please.
Because we finally saw the episode Andy says is in his top 10 of all time. And it's because of the ending scene at Mary's church. That for him, he thought was just, because I watched the episode and I was like, really? Top 10 of all time? Did you have the same reaction?
Yes. And that ending scene, I want to talk about it.
Okay, let's just talk about the ending scene.
Yeah, like we see there's like a party at Whitney's house.
We can get into the other stuff after, but let's just talk about the ending scene first.
I just want to say the part that stuck out to me was when she says to Lisa, Mary is like conducting this service. You know, it's an interactive service where she's like talking to people in the crowd. Everyone's like responding. It's not necessarily it's like a church where you speak and yell and like it's
not a Mormon sacrament meeting. It's more kind of like a speak in tongues potentially like shout.
Yeah, just like
raise
people,
your voice for the Lord.
You like, or
vibes.
yeah, it's an. I don't know why I'm like struggling. I just like don't want to offend anybody, but yeah. Anyway, people know what we're talking about. But she's kind of going to each of the women and she's saying like blessing them a little bit, and she says to Lisa, like, you will have a sound mind, which I thought was insane. It was like, you will be healed of your
mental illness,
literally of your like inability to think.
No, that was,
I thought that was hilarious.
That was the subtle shade from the pulpit.
Sound mind. Didn't know I had a problem.
So there's also a moment during Mary's dance speech, shouting dance sermon, where she says that after, you know, you leave this earth, your soul will have to pay the price. Okay. And my question is, will her soul pay the price for not putting a nice positive message in Britney's Build-A-Bear? Like, what's going to happen when her soul leaves the earth?
And I want to say too, we have been pro Mary this season, but on the yacht, she says to Britney, "You're not cute, you're not cool," and Britney says, "You're like the least Christ-like person."
The least.
And you know what? I'm Team Britney on that. No, that's really rude to say.
It's actually so surprising that Mary considers herself to be so close to God, because she's actually one of the rudest women on the show.
You look inbred. Do you really think I look inbred? I do.
That's what she said to Heather Gay. Okay. She is actually one of the most cruel.
Yes.
So it's fathomless, to quote Katie Maloney, that she is also this like high on her horse preacher woman.
I found that ending scene to be fascinating to watch. I'm not really buying it though, that like this is just some big kumbaya moment for all those women and everything's going to be fine after this.
No, definitely not.
100% not. Because
can I say, watching though that whole church service, I didn't realize how good I had it growing up in the Mormon church.
Because you just sit and be
you
quiet.
Just sit. You can maybe have a clandestine Apple wired headphone going up into one of your ears.
I never would do that. You probably did that.
My hair was long enough that sometimes I got away with it. Although I was always like so terrified of getting caught that I couldn't even listen to whatever I was trying to listen to. Some Jamie Rice. Anyway, long story
blowers, just like coming from your Apple headphones.
Or probably a podcast. But anyway, long story short. Long story short, I had no idea how good I had it, because I could have had to be going to a church that I did not want to be attending. That was also a cardio class.
Yeah.
Where I would have to be jumping up and down, fully engaged the whole time, standing.
Yeah.
Standing the whole time.
You and I do not like to stand.
No, we're not fans. We love sitting. We're sitting enthusiasts.
Yeah, we love a seat, love a bench. Anything else from this episode you want to get into?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Okay.
I want to talk about the conversation with Todd and Bronwyn, because I really want to talk about her interior design aesthetic. I mean, was that not one of the craziest funhouse living rooms you've ever seen?
Yeah, but we've talked about this.
This
is not a surprise.
But it's shocking to me every time it comes across the screen.
It's always shocking because her outfit then does not necessarily like balance things out.
No, she's such a maximalist, and her style, her interior style, it's the exact same as Dr. Deb. Okay? Bronwyn's mom from Orange County, just without any of the psychedelic use.
I would
say
it's Dr. Deb, sure, but also a little bit of like Floop's house from Spy Kids.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. That's exactly what it is. It's
the chairs. It's like the chairs with the weird. Yeah.
The chairs almost look like it's like a kid's playground, like or a jungle gym.
Yes. Yeah.
It is.
I will say I love her confessional look where she has the green eyeshadow.
Oh, interesting.
Where she's like kind of in all gemstones and diamonds. I thought that was a sick look.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But her overall aesthetic is just truly baffling to the mind.
Yeah. Please though, do you want to get into the meat of the matter, the heart of things?
I mean, for me, that was the heart of the matter.
Todd doesn't really take responsibility.
No, he does, because he says I was wrong.
Yeah, I don't know, but he doesn't. What is he admitting to?
I
would like to know what he's
admitting to looking at, I guess, photos of other women or whatever on the plane. But her like basically trying to talk about them having an open marriage on camera. It was just one of the most cringe-inducing scenes for me. And also just like her being like, if you're sexual, like her basically talking about his voracious sexual needs as he's just like sitting there in that pink button down like a total curmudgeon, belly out, I'll say it. It was just, I mean,
It's like talking to your grandpa about his voracious sexual appetite. And she's like, I did talk about our sex life with Whitney.
I'm just like, Todd strikes me as someone who doesn't have sex. Like, I get the most
No, and that's what I think makes like the whole thing feel like extra weird and gross.
Yes.
Because like what is the game? He presents with no game.
No riz.
Yeah.
So what is Todd like in that kind of situation?
And you know what? That's a fantasy I'm not interested in uncovering, going further on.
I wouldn't call it a fantasy. I would just call it
Freudian slip. Yeah, I'm not interested in that type of imagination play right now.
Oh.
Let's get to Brittany's walk with Jared.
I mean, I was laughing out loud.
Jared's a little easier on the eyes.
Okay.
Todd.
That's what I literally said. Am I wrong to say Jared Osmond is kind of hot? That's in my notes.
I would not go that far. I would say he's easier on the eyes than Todd.
Yes,
sure. Like if we're gonna hear a conversation between two people about their love life, I'm gonna pick Brittany and Jared.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared knew that the cameras were gonna be there. He got a tan. He picked out a crisp black t-shirt.
Mm-hmm. He pumped a little iron before.
That man loves the camera.
And you know what? I love him on my screen. They, as a couple, are so funny. When she stomps away in her wedge heels, okay, in that denim dress by the creek, and then screams at him, "This is why I always break up with you."
And then the camera keeps following him and he looks directly to camera and he says, "Maybe I'd stay with you if you were stable for more than 3 days," or something like that. 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was ready for his moment.
Well, then he says, "Do you want me to be," or she says, "Do you want to be my exclusive boyfriend or do you not want to be my exclusive boyfriend?" And he just says, "You're very confusing." He is a total gaslighter and is messing with her head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that she's just running away from his undying love all the time, you know.
He is a classic fuckboy, and they are two middle-aged people who are middle schoolers.
What does he say? He said she was flirting her butt off.
Okay, I did not pick up on that.
He said, "I just, I heard you on the boat. I heard that when you were on the boat, you were just flirting your butt off."
Oh, they're
stunted.
They are incredible television. Can we talk about the John conversation with Lisa?
Yeah.
I
also think John's kind of cute.
John is totally cute. I think he hates her. He hates her. At this point, the level of I feel like resentment he feels toward her when he says, "You're such a great listener." And then he goes on his phone, mimicking when she's listening. And he says, if we're not on the same page, it's because I'm not on your page.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it made me really sad when she said, "I feel like you don't hug me anymore."
I think they're headed
to
Splitsville.
I know. That conversation made me really sad because unlike a Bronwyn and Todd or a Brittany and Jared, not exactly greatest love stories of our time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say necessarily Lisa and John are, but I feel like there was real love there and real partnership there.
I don't love Lisa Barlow, but I loved that she had John Barlow.
Yes. And I loved when they were a team.
And I loved his loyalty towards her. And I loved that he loved her in spite of her kind of insanity.
Yeah.
And I guess it probably, though, honestly, it makes more sense that he has a lot of issues with her. Yeah. She's someone who I think anyone would have a very hard time dealing with.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, anyway, what a day. What a time to be here. You guys, love you so much. Thank you for being global elites. You are the wind beneath our wings. And we will catch you next week.
Love you guys. Bye.